Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. This is your Sunday night cop. I'm Gavin. As always, I'm joined by Emmet. When I say always, I'm joined by Emmet, and Keith ran out of excuses, so he has to do tonight. We have allowed him.
Is he not only here because we won?
No, what happened is we discussed earlier, and he ran out. I said to him, "How are we fixed for later?" And he went, "Gav, I've ran out of these. I've played all the excuses." I went, "Yeah, listen, 2 weeks." And then they all reload and you can start using them again. He's like, perfect. Okay.
You got me on the hop, you did. I couldn't think of anything quick enough.
At least Shawnee committed to it. He went and got his missus pregnant to take off to Spain.
Got her pregnant, left the country, start doing that, start hiring people to work at his house in Spain, and he's stacked with excuses. But now we just give him
Pregnating days are long gone.
The thing is, he's stacked with excuses, but he didn't give us an excuse. He just went, "I'm heading off for a bit. I'll give you a show," and that's basically it, wasn't it? So it's all good. Before anyone asks, I suppose.
That's still
Liverpool 4, Newcastle 1 from Anfield. Yay! Sunday night where we're not sitting there going, "These are fucking shy." But a really, really good win for Liverpool last night, considering the results of United and Chelsea, because they're the kind of two you're watching at the minute. United got a last gasp winner against Fulham today, and Chelsea got a last gasp win against West Ham yesterday. Both 3-2 scorelines. So it was a really, really good win for Liverpool last night, and it was much needed, especially with not winning league games for a while, and going to get that monkey off our back. But I can't remember. I'm going to go to Keith first because I can't remember what order we're in. Is that all right? No, actually, I'm not. I'm going to go to Emma first, because last week I asked Emma who was first, and Emma went, "Oh, fucking ask Kev there, because this is shit. I don't want to talk about it." So I'm going to come to Emma. So Emma, you've landed on your feet. 4-1 overall. A really, really good win. And I'm going to come out and ask you straight out, can Liverpool build on this? Is there things in this team that can build on this? Or are we setting ourselves up here for, City have just fucking done us 2-0 here and we looked fucking tame when we get to next Sunday? But did you see anything in it?
See, Newcastle are the type of team that are gonna. We said this, like it was a very European game, or a European performance, I thought. And we've seen it before. We've seen it against Madrid. We've seen it against Inter. Saw it against Marseille. Saw it against Karabakh. Now, last week you would have thought that we came up against a footballing team as well in terms of what Bournemouth would come out and play us, and we made a couple of mistakes, and that put us straight onto the back foot. Newcastle are probably similar. I fully expected them to come, and I know we had it on WhatsApp yesterday that the first 25 minutes, but I thought Newcastle were always going to come and go at us because of our fragilities. Is that a word?
Frailties, I would have said. I would have used frailties.
Sorry.
But fragilities.
If Gavin's in the chat there.
It's beyond the watershed. I'd say fragilities is probably an illegal word, but you're beyond the watershed.
I thought they were going to do that. And I thought we dealt particularly well with it. And City are going to be the same next week. So I'd be looking more so into the distance to see when is the next time we're going to come up against, and I hate even saying it myself now because he's fucking overused it, low block team. But I really enjoyed this. The first time I've enjoyed a Liverpool game, league game, obviously, in probably a long, long time. The first 25 minutes, 30 minutes are a little bit dodgy. They obviously go and get the goal. I know a lot of people were blaming Kirkes. I don't know. I don't think he ever expects the ball to get there because it's actually McAllister that plays the ball to him. It looks like we're going to clear it. And I thought we dealt with it really well. I thought the referee was absolutely poxy, and that probably played into our favour because I think he even pissed the crowd off, and the crowd kind of got up, and it was probably the loudest you've heard Anfield for a while. And I think it was because Hooper was getting on their tits, to be honest with you. And that kind of G'd us up a bit, and we went on and obviously got back into the game, went on and won it. Can we build on it 100%? But I think the litmus test is where we come up against a team that we found, or a type of team that we found difficult to break down. I think Newcastle didn't sit in when they got their one goal. They kept playing essentially into our hands, and that's what got us back into the game. But let's see who comes. Maybe we make a mistake and they score a goal, and all of a sudden it's 2 banks of 4 or a back 5 or a back 6 in some cases, and see how we get on there. But there are green shoots. It's great to see Wirtz on the score sheet again. It's great to see him and Ekitike linking up together so well. Salah, probably talk a bit about it later on. Talkin Konate was absolutely unbelievable last night. But yeah, look, it's an exciting day. We needed it. You're right, with Chelsea getting the win, and obviously then United today. We need to keep in touch with them. Villa have dropped points as well, so you're still, everybody's saying top 3 or top 4. You could still put a case forward of one of Liverpool, City, Chelsea, or Liverpool, Chelsea, United sneaking into the 3rd spot if Villa don't get their finger out. But it's a much better performance than what we've seen. But again, not getting carried away, because we've been here before to go and draw against Burnley, or to draw against Leeds, or to draw against Sunderland. So,
David T is in the chat, Newcastle fan. He said, "Good evening, Reds." Howe. He's not a fan of Eddie Howe. I'm not surprised. I'm not a fan of Eddie Howe either. I know Stephen Gerrard loves him, but I just don't see it. I just don't. Keith, Emmet talks there about different players, and we will get on to them because it's nice to talk about players when you've won, and we've tried our best to big up players even when we're losing at times on this show as Sundays roll on. But breaking it down into sections, I think you have to break it down into the first 30. And I was surprised by Newcastle's lineup. The fact that they go with Gordon, Barnes, and Alanga. I was like, where the fuck is Valdemade? Where is Jacob? I was thinking they weren't going to go with. I thought they were going to go with. I thought they would have went with Gordon, Barnes, Valdemade, but they don't. And all right, Liverpool see the team sheet now in 15 minutes beforehand. But even with that lineup and with those 3, and of course they're missing Joe Linton and they're missing Bruno Guimaraes. But with that lineup, I expected Newcastle to come out and go, lads, just let them have the ball because they do nothing with it, and sit in, and our front 3 will fucking try expose the spaces that they leave. But it's the other way around. And Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool were good at all in the first 30 minutes. I thought fucking Newcastle steered them around Anfield for 30 minutes, to be fair. But were you surprised by the way Newcastle come out and played that? To get the goal, but would have been more fruitful for Newcastle to say, sit in here because these will leave us gaps. And it did take us 25 minutes, 30 minutes to get a hold on this and say to ourselves, right, this is where this fella's playing, this is what they're trying to do. It threw Liverpool. I think it threw a lot of people. And I was still surprised by the way they even with the lineup, I was surprised by how they approached it.
Yeah, the lineup did surprise me because they've spent big on Valdemade and on Visse, and the 2 of them are on the bench, and that young fella Sula is there as well. So they had strikers on the bench, but they decided to go with the sort of pace and the, I suppose, direct running of the 3 wingers up front, which in itself is fine, except for I don't think Alanga has been very good for them. I don't think he's pulled up many trays. So I was surprised that they went with him. I don't know. Dave will probably tell us if they were carrying knocks any of the others. I'm surprised they didn't start with Visse even over Alanga if they still wanted to, have a mobile and interchangeable front 3. They could have done that. But when I seen the lineup straight away, I went to their bench because I'm like, they're missing half of their bleeding team. What's going on here with the midfield as well? And then I saw the striker, so I was quite surprised to see the way they lined up. And then I was quite surprised at how they attacked us. Not surprised in a sense because they like to attack. Newcastle like to play on the front foot. They like to get the ball and move it around. But I think you hit it on the nail there. They went 1-0 up and they really did have us on the ropes. And they just made it a little bit too easy for us to get back at them. They played a little bit too open and a little bit into our hands, when I think the smart money was to just sit in and break it down. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they couldn't do that with the midfield that they had, and maybe if they'd have had a Joe Linton and a Guimaraes in there, they'd have been more solid in the centre and would have felt more comfortable and easy doing it. But, I was surprised by how they started, but not really surprised the way we've been playing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't.
I think I I was surprised in how maybe that the outlook of where they went was right, because they went with kind of a man-to-man press. They went to play high. They went to try get it off us high up the pitch. And, even though I'm looking at the lineup and thinking they'll sit in here and try hurt us, you still need those Gamaras, you still need those Joe Lintons to link it to the attack. And I think they decided, no, we'll go a bit more direct against this Liverpool side. And, that was their outlook. But with the amount of work they were putting in, and I think Kev said it on the Patreon show last night. He said, I was looking at the first 30, just thinking to myself, stay in it. And I was exactly the same. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, just stay in this. You're gonna have to see this out. They don't quite see it out, but it gets to the point where Newcastle's nearly the puff comes out in Newcastle. They lose that puff when they score, because it's like they've scored and they kind of their shoulders settle, and then Liverpool go on top. Just some breaking news coming from our old friend Fabrizio Romano, who says Jeremy Jacquet to Liverpool. Here we go. Deal agreed now for June 2026. As revealed, understand fee is €60 million plus 10 million in add-ons to Rennes. Jeremy has agreed personal terms with Liverpool Football Club. So there you go. That is in the mix at the minute.
Unbelievable bit of business, that.
Is it? I haven't a fucking clue who Jeremy Jacquet is. I know he's a central defender for Rennes. I know he's 60 million rated, but you might have to pay 70 with including add-ons. But other than that, I can honestly say I've never seen him play, Keith.
Yeah, no, he's quality.
Is he?
He's quality, yeah. Well, I mean, as much as Lenny Yoro was quality, and as much as fucking all the other lads, they'll be quality at that young age, centre-backs, but he is really, really one of the top tier of young centre-backs. Someone saying there, Leone and Jacquet.
Daniel says there, this lad is another Euro. He's 5 years younger than Guehi and 3 years younger than Kwanzaa, who was deemed not ready or good enough.
Daniel, have you seen him playing? Because, we can all, use his age or whatever, but you have to look at how highly rated these guys are, and not use Jarell Kwanzaa or Mark Guehi as the barometers for them. It's a hard one, because the frustration with this is it's in June and it's not now. But you're tying down one of the best young centre-backs in the world alongside the one we bought in the summer, who we haven't seen, but Leone was one of the top young centre-backs in the world. So it is exciting. It'd be
interesting to see what way they go here, because and Anthony O'Chill says, until I see James Pearce shut all these reports down, I don't believe this. Because that's how James works. Yeah, James loves just...
The only thing I would counter that with is Fabrizio Romano, if we all think back to the glory days of the Caicedo deal, when he was given all the bleeding information by Chelsea, because he's a Chelsea, wouldn't say a stooge, but he gets all the inside track from Chelsea, and it was Chelsea who are pushing to get him over the line now, Jacquet. And Rennes didn't want to do it now. They wanted to wait until the summer. So obviously Liverpool have got a steer in there. And if Romano's leading with this one, there's probably a bit in it, because he would have been getting from the Chelsea side as well.
Chris Hockley says James is barred from Liverpool. Ashley says he's the hottest young centre back in France. It'd be interesting to see what way they go though, because if they go with Van Dijk and they go with Jacquet and they go with Leone, if they re-sign a deal with Konate, then you're back to those 4 centre-backs. It'd be interesting to see what way they go, but that's probably for another day. We will talk a few transfers later, and we'll probably cover this a little bit more in our show tomorrow night, because it's deadline day tomorrow. We'll be doing the show after everything is over. I think the deadline shuts at 7, so we won't be doing all that. We'll have a chat after. Because the last hour of the transfer window is fucking shy, right? Let's be honest about it. Fucking Will Hughes will move on loan to Chelmsford for 6 months or something, and we all go, Will Hughes, look at Sky giving it the big one. But there you go. No disrespect to Will Hughes, you were the first name that came into my head. But look, back to this game. The goal that they get, we look like we're trying to get back into it. We haven't done an awful lot. They haven't done an awful lot either, by the way. They've hit the post for a free kick. We've had a couple of half chances. And then the goal comes, and it's Anthony Gordon that scores. And again, Anthony Gordon, fair play to him. He's changed. He's ripped up the form book, because Anthony Gordon usually only shows up in late games that are played at St. James's Park. But at this game, he's at Anfield, but he's at home kind of, isn't he? Because he loves Liverpool and all. And the Ev, he loves the Ev as well. He loves everything about the city. And he gets the goal. And like Emmet, to be fair, when they score, they're going, that's kind of income. You know what I mean? It's how we react. And, you know, it's unfortunate how the ball gets played across them. A lot of people are, for some reason, blaming Kirkes, and I'm looking going, well, what more would you like him to do? Yeah. You know, he stands up the guy, Gordon shifts it and hits it, and he tries to get a block in the way. It happens to go between his legs and go into the far corner. You know, another day that hits his right foot, hits his left foot, hits him in the chest. It could hit him anywhere. Just he does what he wants.
It happens to every defender at some time.
Yeah, yeah. He just like
I think the argument was he should have been closer to him to begin with. But again, the ball was running across the edge of the box. I don't think he ever thought it was going to get to him.
Yeah, but if he gets too
puts his toe on it.
Yeah, but if he gets too close to Gordon, let's say he gets touched, and the ball from McAllister goes in behind him, now he's left space in behind. He actually gets back into position to be in line with the defence, even when the ball gets knocked across. In fairness to Gordon, it's a good touch and a good finish, Emmet. But straight away, you're like, that's been coming. And I'm not going to lie, when that went in, I went, fuck this. Because all we need now is us to be fucking tippy-tapping around the fucking place. And Newcastle with 3 absolute live wires up front looking, going, this is great. We're just going to run inside, left and inside, right channels all day. But it was a good finish by him. It was a good finish by him.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah.
But the reaction was excellent.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier on. When they went 1-up, I actually thought that they might sit off a bit and kind of make it more difficult for us, and they didn't. They just kept. Well, I won't say they kept going, because I think Kev said earlier on it was nearly like rope-a-dope. They nearly ran themselves into the ground in the first 30 minutes, and I think a couple of us put into WhatsApp group saying they won't be able to keep this pace up, and they weren't. But they didn't actually change their shape or anything like that to sit in and try and stop us. And the game was wide open. Like it was not always when you're on the kind of back foot and the game is wide open do you kind of think, oh, I'm enjoying this. But it was nice to actually enjoy a game of football, and it's not corners and free kicks and long throw-ins. And it was 2 teams that were actually going toe to toe, which was refreshing for a change. It's just that we basically had the better knockout punches, and Wirtz obviously does what he does to set Ekitike up, and it's just getting better and better. We had opposition telling us he was a flop, and we could all see it all season, even only in tiny little flashes. Even if it was only one ball in one game, or even the kind of the back heel assist for Salah that he should really score. We all saw it, and it's just over the last few games he's been getting better and better and better and better, and he's making it look easier. And he already made it look easy. He's making it look even easier now. And like I said at the beginning, his link-up play with Ekitike, they seem to be really, really clicking. And I think it was Paddy Lawson put that picture into the WhatsApp group yesterday with the Spider-Man or whatever your man's name is, Maguire, Toby Maguire, and the top one is Gerrard and Torres, and then he puts his glasses on. It's actually Ekitike and Wirtz, and that's probably the biggest compliment you can
remember that photo, to be honest with you.
I'll dig it out for you after.
Dig it out.
I went in. Yeah, I'll dig it out. Okay. And that's probably the biggest compliment you can pay those two, because Ekitike's second goal then obviously is...
No, hold on. Where you going? Is
a carbon copy of Torres.
No,
I'm only saying why the link... Yeah. Oh, it was a great response, yeah.
Okay, thanks, bud. Because I'm waiting for you to go. And the Konate goal as well. That ball comes in there and all. You know, we're up broadcasting for the deaf here.
No, I was saying why the likeness of Torres and Gerrard. Yeah.
My argument in all this is that I think, don't get me wrong, I think Wirtz is excellent. I've been banging the drum since the start of the season going, just put him in the fucking team, and whatever you have to do to sacrifice around him, go and do it. If that means you have to play literally 4 centre midfielders in midfield and play him off Ekitike and let people run around him, by all means do it, because I think he's that good, right? I think as it's gone on here, my thing on this, as I've watched in especially the last month, he's become the central cog in it. You know, when you looked and you went, Wirtz is playing well, he's kind of not on the periphery, but we aren't looking to him as our main man, right? Now, sometimes early in the season it was getting beyond ridiculous. You know, there was 5 fellas around him and they're like, here's the ball, do something with it. And then other times you're like, can you pass it to Wirtz? And you're like, oh no, we go over here. Whereas now it's like he's starting to find his rhythm and find his little areas where he knows other players want him to be, and he's becoming more and more influential. and they're looking to him. Not that it has to be to Wirtz, but he's actually giving people no choice on where the ball has to go, because he's finding those little pockets, and he's like, just give me the ball. I've made all the room here. It's an easy thing to do. Give me the ball. And with the equaliser last night, the amount of times I've seen Liverpool this season where the ball, I think it's Gakpo, goes out to Salah, he tries to cross it, it comes back out, and Gravenberch gets a knock on it, and it gets to Wirtz. The amount of times I've seen Liverpool at that stage turn and pass it back into midfield, or run around with it a little bit and pass it back to a fullback, or turn out and give it to another fullback. But it's like Wirtz clicks, and Ekitike as well. They just click and go, fuck this, right? I could tap it back here, but no, enough of this. And he just takes it. And Keith, the thing about him is, people are saying he's a flop. That's a nonsense, right? But you can see the fear in teams, I think, starting to creep up with him. Because as soon as he gets that ball, there's 4 Newcastle players near him, and none of them have an idea where he's going, and none of them want to go near him, because they're like, this fella will just either drift by me or I'm going to give away a penalty. It's lovely footwork. I get where Emmet's coming from completely. It's lovely footwork, and it is Gerrard to Torres in that case of, he gets into this area and immediately Ekitike knows, I have to be in that spot because that's where he's putting it. Great ball in, Ekitike is on the spot, bang. But this is what I'm talking about, variation and bravery on the ball. And we've been saying it for ages. And when you see the glimpses of it, Keith, it produces. And all it took was 2 players. You didn't need 7 lads in the box. You didn't need fellas fucking, running around like lunatics. It's just, they're really good at what they're doing. If you can just let them do that, and we sacrifice somewhere else, so be it, because they'll still get you goals. It was a really good goal.
It was an excellent goal. And look, we've said it all along, Wirtz has been playing excellent all season, but maybe only in fits and starts, despite the criticism he was getting elsewhere. But what we're seeing now is we're starting to see end product, whether it be finishes or assists. And you're right, you're seeing a fear in the opposition players, because every time he gets the ball, he's looking to move the ball quickly. He's looking to move it forward. He's taking the ball on the half turn. He's taking it on his back foot. All the stuff that shows a confident player who hasn't wilted under the criticism and the weight of criticism that he's had because he was signed for a big fee. You are seeing a player who was absolutely brilliant. He just hadn't hit his full straps. And now we are starting to see, they'll tell you he's crap, but you just look at the opposition every time he has it, and the fear in their play. And if you see a player that struggles under pressure, you see them hiding, and you see them, getting a ball and just giving it away. Just get it away from me. Don't put that ball near me. Or they're overdoing it and they're overcompensating. He hasn't at all. He's just got on with it, and he's got up to speed with the pace of the Premier League. He's got up to speed with the physicality of the Premier League, and he's starting to think to himself, this is like 1987. What's going? Long throws and bleeding hoofball all over the place. Right, I'll have to change the way I play, the way I see football to suit this style. But he's going to suit it, and he's going to change. And you're looking at him and Ekitike. And look, forget about Isak. He's injured. Next season he'll be fine if he comes back. Brilliant. If we see him before the end of the season, great. But we've got the hottest striker. I know Haaland is the best striker in the league, but we've got the hottest striker. That's everyone is starting to look at him as well, and they're starting to fear him. So around those two we need to build, along with Dominic Szoboszlai. I think Dominic Szoboszlai's running power and his athleticism is off the scale. And I think these are the players that we will see carry Liverpool forward. At the start of the season, we might have said Isak and Ekitike will be his understudy. Now you're starting to see it different, and you're like, I just want to see Ekitike and Wirtz on the pitch all the time, because the link up that they've developed is just brilliant, and it's not, he doesn't reinvent the wheel, Florian Wirtz, when he sets up that goal. He just runs, beats a couple of players and puts in a cross. But it's how he puts in the cross. It's the pace that he puts in the cross. It's the area that he puts in the cross. And Ekitike just knows he has to be in that space just to get a touch on it. Ekitike isn't having to do the work when he gets there. He just has to get there. And that's the link up that you want to see. How many times did we see Darwin Núñez, for example, getting into those sort of chances? Actually, not that many. A lot of Darwin Núñez' stuff he was creating himself. He was having to do a lot of work himself. We now see a centre forward that has that that ability to just be in that place and
he's
be
very
ready.
rounded in what he's doing, isn't he?
He is. He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
that's what's coming across to me. Like, when you look at someone and you like, even if you go back to the likes of Michael Owen, you were like, he's just fucking so fast. Do you know what I mean? And when you look at, and I'm not putting any of these players down, but you know when you have a standout attribute, like Robbie Fowler was just the best finisher, like one of the best finishers I've ever seen, right? And then you look at Torres, and he was all about. Torres wasn't. I don't think Torres was the fastest on the planet, but he was power. He was direct running power, decent in the air. And then you look at Suarez, and you're like, geez, he was just a genius. You know, wasn't amazing in the air, but he could just do loads of stuff. And I don't know if I put Ekitike up in that bracket right now, but when I look at him, I just think his close control is good. He's strong, right? His movement is good. His willingness to run, his willingness to take the ball is good. But his straight line running power is really good. Direct power. He's fast. He's an eye for a goal. He doesn't care about the finish. He's well rounded in what he's doing. Because it's like, I think if Ekitike turned up here and Ekitike was like fast as fuck, right? And was getting in behind and scoring a couple of goals, people are like, yeah, but his fucking hamstrings are going to fall off in the next 2 years, and what else has he got about him? And Michael Owen, if you go back to Michael Owen, he admitted it. He went, lads, when my hamstrings went, I had to try completely reinvent my game because I didn't have the other bits to go with it. Whereas, like Emmet, just on Ekitike, because we'll touch on him and the second goal. Do you feel he's that well rounded? And I don't want to put him on a pedestal where people can try and knock him down, but when I watch the first goal, it's a poacher's finish. When I watch his play yesterday, he's not afraid to get involved with Dan Bourne or whoever else wants to fucking have it off him. You know, and earlier in the season, Joe Linton, wasn't it? Trying to fucking rough him up, and he was just standing there going, yeah, whatever.
Joe Linton and Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno Guimaraes. But there's just something about him that when I look at the first goal, it's that poacher. When you look at Núñez, we always thought if Núñez was just getting these positions, he'd pick up 10 goals a season and we could work with him. But he gets that first, and then the second one is just like, there's room, I'm running into it, give me the fucking ball. And then he just shows the defender and went, well, now you're fucked because I've stood you up now, and it doesn't matter how close you are to me, I'm gone. And it's a great finish. He's just so fucking good when you watch. He's a joy to watch, actually. He's been one of the highlights in what's been a fucking awful season, to be fair.
He had a really good start, but I think he's actually got better, right? Since he's first played for us. I mean, yesterday you saw even a bit of his hold-up play. The ball gets played up and he cushions it with his head back into the midfield. Like you said, we were talking about him and Isak being possibly different on a Sunday show. I'm nearly sure it was. Isak wants to play off the shoulder. He's not going to be the one that comes and drops deep in it. And I'm kind of looking at Ekitike and I'm thinking he can actually do all of that. So, like you said, the Wirtz drag back, he's getting across the front post to get that goal. Second goal is he's taken on for pace the defenders. I think he has a little bit of everything. More, say, complete striker than maybe like Isak is a goal scorer, but Ekitike will probably make himself a goal out of nothing as well. Like, do you know what I mean? And assist and create goals. But I think at 20, he's 22?
Something like that, yeah.
And he's playing the way, and I think Wirtz, I think the both of them are 22. And he's playing the way he is now.
Harvey Elliott, isn't he? That's always the line.
Can you imagine what they'll be like in a year or two's time?
Probably shy. Probably just go, look, they ran out of steam, them lads.
No,
they played too much football since they were 17.
I like Ekitike even giving it to the fans a little bit as well. That reminded me a little bit of Jota against Leicester. Yeah. He has a bit about him, and a little bit of snide as well, and he's not afraid to get stuck in either. So, yeah, I think he's excellent. I didn't even know who he was when we were linked with him in the summer. I just know that Newcastle wanted him, and I thought it was great crack that we were threatening to buy him if they didn't give us Isak, and then we went to buy both of them. And Jesus Christ, I'm delighted that we bought him. I think he's fantastic.
Okay. Let me see. Rido says Paul Joyce's message to say, not message, he put out on Twitter. He didn't message Rido. He just put it out. He says 55 million plus 5 million deal agreed for Jackie. But Daniel's not having a bar. He says, don't be filled by Jackie. Personal terms agreed. Yeah, we were here. We had this with Saicedo and Zubamendi, and especially if Chelsea are sniffing around. Don't be filled. Rido says no club to club agreement. No, sorry. Riddle says no. Club-to-club agreement is also being done. So I think, maybe we just have to wait. Maybe we just have to wait till the Liverpool Football Club come out and confirm it before Daniel's willing to come here. But every time, and I'm not having a go at you, Daniel, don't take it the wrong way. But when I see stuff like this, right, I'm like, one, don't get that upset about it, and don't get that down about it. And two, it always reminds me of the Brighton journal that was like, McAllister's not signing for Liverpool, and McAllister was literally in Liverpool having his photos taken, being presented to the press, like. But so there you go. But it looks like it looks like that deal is done. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Would that be up there, Keith? I don't know. Like, that you seem to know a lot about him. I know we probably don't really want to talk about it, but would it be up there with the Konate deal when we did it?
No, I'm not an expert.
As in potential.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on Jackie, but I've seen, for example, I've seen more of him than I've seen of Ryan.
Comparing him to me, comparing what I've watched them, comparing to what you've watched them, you are absolutely the expert, right? So we're going to cross live now to our French footballer expert, Keith. Keith, tell us about.
No, look, back when we were linked.
What's his first name again? What's his name
again?
Jeremy. I was going to go with Jeremy, and then I said no, it's not that.
But back when we were linked with a centre half, everybody was mad for Upamecano, and Keith, to be fair to him, on these shows said, no, you're looking at the wrong one. You should be looking at Konate, he said. So that's what I mean. Would you be as confident on Jackie as you were possibly on Konate?
Konate was further ahead in his development. Do you know what I mean? Konate was a couple of years older at the time that we bought him, and was, he's after making the move from France into Germany and was establishing himself. But what I would say is Jackie is that sort of similar. People get, when you say that the mould of French centre-backs, and Chelsea have a bleeding rake of them at the moment, but just because they didn't work out, so the likes of Axel Disasi and, Badiashile, all these lads, like France are producing an awful lot of good, big, physical centre-backs, but that can play ball as well. And maybe Konate, he's probably better in the build-up than Konate, but he would be a big physical player as well. So
Brian wants to know, could you describe him in a Joey Barton French accent? No is the answer.
Absolutely not.
But look, the people are gonna look at the fee on that. Just we're gonna sidetrack again into this, but people are gonna look at the fee on that and go 55 million. He has to play. But that's not really true, because 55
I think they've broken their model a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, because 55 million is
he only
comes in at 26 or 27 million. But I think it is cheaper to buy out of Italy than it is out of France. But he doesn't have to play. It's just the rate players are going for. If you feel that Jeremy Jacquet is the next best centre half, he's the next William Saliba, or he's the next Virgil van Dijk, or he's the next whoever, you have to pay that rate. And we scoffed at Euro, because Euro ends up going for fucking mad money to United. And in fairness, Euro's been in and out of that United side for the last season and a half, and rightfully so. He should be. He's very, very young. But I think as time goes on, you might see the value in Euro, and this is where this comes from, because you're not gonna walk into France and go, we'll give you 25 million for him. It's just not going to happen because of what's gone before him. Konate at 32 million a couple of years ago looks an unbelievable deal. 32, I think it was. So this is just
Saliba. I'm looking here. Saliba was 27 million to Arsenal, and that was in July 2019. So yeah. We're six odd years on, from then. So
it just keeps going. But anyway, what were we talking about? This fella Ekitike. So look, for me, as I said, so well rounded. Emmet's loving the fact that he just gives it a bit to the Newcastle fans as well. But he has that. I like the swagger about him, I have to say, and I think he's every right to, because to me he's been Wirtz is getting better and better, but Ekitike over the season has been if he wasn't there, what are we doing? What are we actually at? Do you know what I mean? And he's become that important. And people, I've even seen people when Ekitike's play well, and people go, why did we sign Isak? When we got this fella. But the thing is, we're trying to get Isak way before we were trying to get Ekitike, in my opinion. And it just happened that the Newcastle stuff went on and on and on. But if we had Ekitike and he's getting these goals, but he has to come off, we need something else done. And Isak was the signing with Ekitike as the backup and long-term planning. But listen, with Isak out and he comes back next season, I want nothing more than the two of them absolutely planting goals in for Liverpool and going, right, who are we playing? Play the fucking both of them. Because there's an argument if you're going to be, you know, if Salah's on his way out, there's an argument where you literally can turn around and go, just put them two up front, put Wirtz behind them, put three solid lads in midfield and tell them to be solid, and let the fullbacks go, and we go with that. Let's go with that. I think you'd have enough. But I thought it was excellent. The turnaround was excellent. The change in atmosphere at Anfield was excellent. I think Anthony Gordon actually stokes that a bit to fucking Egypt. He should score and just fuck off, but he can't. He has to cup his ear and give it this kind of mad fucking walk. You know, he's about 7 stone wet through. God love him. But he's giving it the big one. And the worst thing you can do at Anfield is do that. Don't do that, mate. You're 1-0 up. Take it, yeah, delighted with me goal and fuck off. But that stores Anfield, and we get in at half time, and you know we're 2-1 up. And Keith, then Florian Wirtz really starts to find room because you know Newcastle try to change it. I think they try to go a little bit 4-4-2-ish, and but then that just leaves more room for Wirtz, and just on the third goal, you know. Great ball out to Salah, follows her up. Salah, in fairness to him, delays lovely and gives it back. But he's passing these fucking things into the goal at the edge of the box, Keith. It's genuinely like I just pass, just put it in there. Yeah, I don't even have to hit hard. I just right in against the post and I'm not saving it. And it was a goal he deserved, wasn't it? In fairness,
absolutely, yeah. But it's a sign of a player who's, you know, again going back to it, he's confident in his ability. He's confident in what he can do. A player that is, and we've seen great players down the years struggle for confidence and score a goal and emotion sort of, you know, seeping out of them or, you know, absolutely blast them on where there's no need to. And you never see it with Wirtz. It's all controlled. It's all calm. As you say, it's a pass into the box, the edge of the box against a fella who's about 6'8", and he just rolls it into the side of the net. It's an absolutely brilliant finish, and it's the type of finish that sums up Florian Wirtz because it's a bit of class, and that's what he is, and that's what we're getting from him and what we're starting to see on a more regular basis. And look, people will I've seen people online saying, you know, oh, people going on about Florian Wirtz and he's only scored against Wolves and this and that. I couldn't give a shit. Could not care who he scores against because he's just building and building and building. And the reality is this season, I wouldn't say is a write-off, but for titles, it's a write-off. It's all about, you know, let's get Wirtz as much as we can out of him this season, but can't wait to see him go from here. You know, cannot wait to see his Liverpool career develop. And next year, the year after, you know, when he's basically has the league on strings and he's running the whole thing. I just can't wait to see that. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing now, but the thought of what's to come is just absolutely, as Shawnee would say, it makes you horny. So it's something that we love to see, but we're starting to see green shoots of it now. And if this is what we're seeing from a player who's supposedly shy, can't wait till we see him when he's good.
A couple of quotes actually put in here or from David Ornstein. It says Liverpool view Jackie 20 as being a more valuable long-term acquisition than Guehi in their model, hence the push to sign the French youth international. The club are trying to build a team for the next generation following the signings of Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez and Alexander Isak, and Jackie is considered a big part of this. Emmet, I think the nicest part of the night was the fourth goal. I know you tried to jump to it 20 minutes ago, but I'm going to let you go now. You did. I could see it. I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I just had to cut you off the cross. You know, what's it cut you off at the pass? The pass. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've heard the cross before as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, we go with Ibrahima Konate, much maligned this season. Let's be fair. Fellas at the scene of the crime, as a lot of people have said throughout the season. But Ibrahima Konate loses his father a couple of weeks back. He comes out of the squad pre-Marseille, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you know it's very hard on him. He goes away. He misses a couple of games, and he comes back yesterday. And you have to hand it to the guy, right? Whether you're a fan of him, you're not a fan of him. You feel like he's losing the plot or he's the contract, wherever it is. you have to hand it to him. Emmet. He comes back there yesterday, and I thought he was fucking brilliant. From start to finish, he was brilliant. He could score just before he does. He gets the goal. He does an interview afterwards and said it's been really hard, but my team needed me. There's injuries, fellas have gone down injured. I had to come back and help, even though the club had told him to take all the time in the world that he needs. I just thought with Konate last night, it was what we've always loved about him. He was aggressive. He was front foot defending. He wasn't hanging off and seeing. He was everything he went to do. He just made the decision and he done it, and it benefited us massively as the game went on. I thought.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. Like he hasn't had the best of seasons, but sure, neither has Van Dijk. Okay, it's just that Van Dijk has probably fallen from a higher level than what Konate was, and Konate was already at a high level. But again, it's the team has not been playing great, and that's kind of a byproduct of it. But I just thought it was the old Konate back last night. You're right; he was forced to everything, strong. He was kind of bringing the ball forward, like we've seen in the past as well. Keep the hair gone. I even said it. Baldy Konate, I think, and I might be kind of offending people doing that because I think that's something to do with a Muslim funeral. I think all the lads shaved their heads, but
fair play to him, jeez, you're digging some holes here.
He looked fantastic, I have to say, and he was excellent. And you'd like to see him kick on, and God love him when he got the goal. It was like it kind of all hit him at once. And I read something the other day to say that his father used to go to an awful lot of Liverpool games. So it's not like when you see Elliot and the camera goes to Elliot's stand, the crowd and all. I couldn't even tell you what his dad looked like. But believe it or not, he was at an awful lot of games. So he's very close to his dad. And I thought it was lovely the way all the players kind of went to him. Even Alisson ran the full length of the pitch to kind of be with him, and he kind of cried into Van Dijk's shoulder, kind of bring a tear to a glass eye, like watching it, like, do you know what I mean? And you can only imagine what it's like, because I've never lost a parent, so I can't even imagine what it's like for him to come back so soon after, and it must have been extremely difficult. But it kind of goes to show how close the team are. I'd say that he wanted to get back and help his teammates. The club, as we've seen in the past, I know Alisson wasn't allowed to go home during COVID when he lost his dad, but like they rally around him. He spoke when he scored his goal, funny enough, about how good the club were to him as well. And that's, we all know for a fact, we may have had our shortcomings this season, quality wise and results wise, but there's one thing will never change is what way that club cares for the players and how the players care for each other. And I think for him to come back and get the goals, a fitting moment for him to get it. But even if he didn't score, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Probably his best performance of the season. And I actually thought he was excellent against Arsenal earlier on in the season. But I think last night kind of topped it. It was like he was playing with a freedom or something. Whereas previously he was nervous. He had something.
It just looked like he was.
Can I ask a question? Do we know what happened to his dad? Was his dad sick for a long time?
No, I haven't a clue. I'm not going to speculate. You've done enough with the haircut, to be fair.
But you just wonder if his dad hadn't have been well for a while, and maybe that was something.
Maybe it's affecting
on his mind.
But and maybe it was just a case of, as I think it might have been Kev, one of them in one of the post-match shows yesterday, he said probably the best place for him to be yesterday was at Anfield playing football. Because that's where they spend an awful lot of their time. That's the group of people they spend an awful lot of time with. They're comfortable in that environment, and but on his performance, Keith, and we let's not get it twisted here. We've slaughtered fucking Konate this season, and we're not going to turn and go, oh no, we never said that about him. That'd be a lie. We've said he's been fucking awful at times, along with others, and he has been, but maybe it's the circumstance yesterday, but I think it's the certainty in what he was doing for me was huge yesterday. I've seen him a lot this season where a ball's played up towards a striker and he'll go towards and then he'll stand off and he'll go, well, what's going to happen here? Or he'll let a fella drift. And yesterday he just went, no, when the ball comes anywhere near here, I'm going to be in front of whoever it is and I'm just going to get a toe on it, a head on it, wherever it is, and I'm just going to make sure that the next touch isn't towards their goal, no matter where it is. And it was a throwback to Liverpool of last season and seasons even before that with Konate, where he and Van Dijk would set a tone where it'd be like, don't worry, because when this ball comes up here, they're not getting a flick on. We're going to head all these back into these areas and we're going to win it and go from there. And instead of us starting from outside our box, we're starting in their half. And that was what it was for me, Keith. It was just a certainty in what he was doing, and he went in and he asserted himself and won more or less fucking everything that came near him.
Yeah, he was excellent, and we have been critical. I've certainly been critical of him this season because I felt that his head was maybe elsewhere earlier on in the season, and maybe smelling himself. And I was at the Villa game there a while ago, and I couldn't believe the amount of times Van Dijk chewed him out, Bradley chewed him out, Gravenberch chewed him out, Szoboszlai chewed him out. Every time he was getting the ball, he was rushing passes, he was giving hospital balls to lads, and they were eating him about it. And he just looked, and this wasn't that long ago, this was only in October, and he just looked like he was a player whose head had gone and whose confidence, as we were saying about Wirtz, doesn't look like his confidence is draining at all. To me, Konate started to look like his confidence was draining. And I think yesterday, that was his best game of the season. He's had a few decent performances of late. I think that's fair to say. But yesterday was prime Konate. And look, if we get that player every time, I'd be happy to see him stay with a new contract. If you get that player and you bring in other centre-backs, as it looks like we're doing, along with the likes of Leone to come back, well, then the centre-back situation doesn't look as bad. But we can't base it on one game. We have to see more of this from Ibu. We have to see a consistent run from now until the end of the season because, look, I haven't heard of him signing any pre-contracts or being linked really with anybody.
And to be fair, the teams he's been linked with have all been outside of England, so he could have signed the pre-contract. Yeah. A month ago. He genuinely could.
It's so to me, like there's probably work getting done. They can probably do something around the contract, and if they do, great. If we're getting that version of Ibu and the previous version, because I've been a fan of his for years, and I want to see him doing well. I want to see him doing well for us, and I think he's a player who has maybe suffered from a lack of competition in the squad, where it didn't matter how poor he was playing, he'd still play. And we've seen him when Joel Matip was down, breathing down his neck, he would perform. Unfortunately, we lose Leone, and Joe Gomez has just been unreliable in fitness-wise, and Slot doesn't obviously trust Joe Gomez. So he's been sort of bulletproof and hasn't had to push it. Hopefully we'll see a player who's hungry and who will want to play and will be, will feel pressure coming from players and make him play at his top level. And if he does and he stays, happy days. If he wants a new challenge and he moves on, I wouldn't begrudge him that either, because he's been a good player for us. Whatever he decides to do in the future will be fine, but last night was a real throwback to the player that we've seen in the past, and he's still only young as well, so it's not like he's being wrote off. If we keep him, it's not a sentimental thing. It's a player that's got years ahead of him, so whatever happens with him happens. But I think we have to see a few more performances like that before we maybe say that he's back to his very best.
Yeah, and the thing is that we don't know what's going to happen with the contract situation, right? As of now, he hasn't signed the contract, but nothing's really been out around him going anywhere else. So, but to be fair, you never know what's going to happen. Ashley says there that there's rumours Konate played a role in the signing of Jackie, but we don't know what's going to happen. In a perfect world, maybe it's you get Jackie, you have Leone, you sign Konate down, and you have Van Dijk, and you have two very senior centre halves there, and you have two backups that are looking to play and progress as it goes on. My thing on all of it is, is that it was just a brave performance from him yesterday, and I keep using the word brave, but it was. He wasn't afraid, like, if I go in for this and I miss it, what's going to happen? He just went in and goes, I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss this tackle. I'm not going to miss this header interception. And that's what's needed from Liverpool. Honestly, that's what, instead of us standing out and worrying on what's going to happen here, or if we press there, what happens? Go and be confident and be brave in what you're doing. And honestly, I think you get way more of a payback from fans in the ground or fans online, wherever, if you're seen to be doing something proactive. And maybe you get caught the odd time, fine. But we went through years of that, where Klopp, everything was proactive. And sometimes you got caught. And you go, well, that's the fucking risk we're taking here, lads. But look how 9 times out of 10 we win. Sometimes we don't. We get caught. But what happens with fans, whatever, is when you don't see proactive work, you see pessimistic kind of play. You go, well, you're doing nothing here, and they're just scoring. Can we do something? And I just think Konate embodied everything last night about being positive and just being brave and being front-footed and setting a tempo for the players around him, for the people in the crowd, wherever it was. I thought he was absolutely excellent, I have to say. Before we go, because we're under time restrictions here. I'm not going to say why Keith told us. But a couple of things before we go. Emmet, Gertrude linked with Liverpool, was it last night? And Gertrude is not happening today. I thought it looked like a bit of a shambles, to be fair. But that looks like it won't be happening because Sunderland don't want to release the player. Well, some people are saying Sunderland don't want to release the player, and some people are saying Liverpool aren't pursuing it. But the 1st of February and Liverpool looking around for a centre back at a club that he's already on loan at seemed a bit mad.
Yeah, but I don't think they were signing him for centre back. I think they were signing him because of.
Well, sorry.
I thought they were signing him because of Frimpong.
Did I say centre back? I should have just said Liverpool looking for a player on the 1st of February that's already on loan to somebody else. Go on.
Yeah. We all thought he was going to come in the summer of 2024. We spoke about him several times on this show. So to hear his name pop up, and I think somebody might have mentioned it. I think Kev maybe mentioned it on a show on Thursday or Friday, maybe, about Gertrude as well. It does seem a little bit kind of knee-jerk. I was worried that it might have meant that Frimpong was out for longer than they expected. But then there is reports this evening to say that Gomez is just back and Frimpong isn't likely to be out for much longer. And that's possibly why they've pulled out of it. We definitely should have been doing something this month, but does the Jack 18 paper over cracks? I don't think so. We still need to do something to get that top 4. We've said it for the last 2 weeks now. Regardless of whether it's a not back in slot thing or whatever, the club themselves need to be in the Champions League next year. And I think going out and getting somebody that can cover at the back is required to get us into that. And whether it's a loan, I think even we were even talking about was saying the fact that it's a loan might be a case that they're not committed to it. So if they're not hanging on to slot in the summer, it doesn't necessarily mean that the manager coming in has to work with them, etc., etc. And that might be what you see in the next 24 hours. Do we get somebody in? I don't know. I know there was other rumours of other people as well. Can't remember any names, but I don't see it happening. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, to be fair, I just think everyone kind of said at the start of January Liverpool probably need a defender and an attacker, a wide attacker possibly, and they haven't done either
in this window.
They haven't done either of them. And to be looking out for a player on the 1st of February or 24th of January, I think it's a bit. And then who do you go after is a bit mad as well. Keith, I'm not going to put you through all the Gertrude stuff. I know you're a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I wanted to sign him when.
I think
slot came in.
Yeah,
and I think he covers positions that we could do a cover in. Right back, centre back, defensive midfield.
Yeah,
a player that slot will trust to put in there, because it looks like Gomez, Endo, they don't have his full trust. So Gertrude would have been an ideal solution, but maybe they got wind that they could do it, and then Sunderland just couldn't get a player over the line or whatever. Look, it is what it is.
We have to wait and see. Maybe something will happen tomorrow, but
maybe Sunderland thought the window closed tonight.
yeah, or yesterday.
Someone's had to tell them, no lads, it's Monday, and they're like, oh fuck. Ring your man back there and ask him, does he want to play with us? Right, couple of questions quickly before we go. Avo asked earlier, he said, Keith, what have you been listening to this week? The lads love to know. And he says, I've been revisiting Led Zeppelin. Can't believe I've not listened for ages. What's your favourite Led Zeppelin tracks?
My favourite Led Zeppelin track, Baby, Please Don't Leave Me, or Baby, Baby, Please Don't Leave Me, When the Levee Breaks, Achilles' Last Stand. I love Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin, one of my favourites. I'm listening to Nirvana a bit this week and Talking Heads. That's who I sort of have on. Love Talking Heads.
Yeah.
So a lot of Talking Heads and a lot of Nirvana this week. But yeah, I might put Led Zeppelin on the rotation. Big
There
fan.
you go. I've been typing into Spotify an awful lot 70s and 80s rock and roll hits.
As in Shakin' Stevens, or as in
just typing in
Led
70s and 80s. Yeah, all sorts of stuff, and I've really enjoyed it. There's been I just typed in 70s and 80s, and something come up. I think it said rock and roll hits, but rock and roll to me is like a 60s thing. But yeah, I've enjoyed an awful lot of that music this week. Duran was coming up, and all that sort of gear. Yeah, all that sort of gear was coming up. So,
I went down a Taylor Swift rabbit hole last night.
She's great. She's fucking brilliant.
Paulie says Led Zeppelin, Cool in the Rain drums are amazing. Does that make sense to you? Cool in the Rain drums are amazing. Levy breaks.
No, drums are amazing.
All right. What? Cool in the Rain is the name of the song. The drums in that
drums
are amazing.
Are amazing.
Okay, all right, Grant. Okay.
Now, the Taylor Swift thing, Keith, was this new song, Fate of Ophelia.
Oh, no, that's the old song. Opaloid's the new one.
No, I know. But the rabbit hole I went down is all of these songs that people are saying that she's ripped off for the melody and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, but
there's loads of them.
I want to have a word
They're all Ed Sheeran was in court about it. I'm a big fan of Taylor, I have to say. She's fucking great. Yes. She came out with this album. I thought she'd had her day, and then she comes out with the new album, releases The Fate of Ophelia, great song, and then tops it up with Opaloid. What a tune. Me and my daughter would be singing it all the time.
Yeah, she's a touch of class.
She's a touch of class.
Tiernan says, Gav, you're still hearing the first few notes of a song and recognising it immediately. Yeah. And do you know what? It happens every so often where there's a new kind of what would you call it, situation, or that you're in, and you go, oh Jesus, fair play to you, have to get in that now really quickly, and there might be a different noise in the background or something, but yeah, no, that's happened. I tell you what happened the other day, just quickly. I got into my car the other day, right? I know you turn on the car and the radio comes on, but it was like I turned on the car and it was like there was like this clicking noise, and it was like only one of the speakers was working. I was like, what the fuck is going on here, right? And then when I put on the indicators, instead of clicking, it goes tick tock, tick tock. When it comes on, it was like boom, 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 boom. I was like, something seriously wrong here. But when I got home and turned the car back on, it was gone. So I was just like, it's fixed, great. But the song came on the radio, and while this carry on was happening, it came on, and the uncle was in the back shouting, could he open his can of the pink 7-Up? So there was an awful lot going on, right? And I still knew the song within the first couple of beats. It was outrageous.
It's some skill.
It is.
You want to go on You Bet next season?
I was going to say, is it still going?
It was what?
You Bet.
You Bet.
They had it on last year, didn't they? They done a rehash.
Yeah, maybe so. I just think it was fantastic. Anyway, last question. Brian O'Sullivan says, Gav, and the lads, I presume, what's your favourite chocolate to lick? Not eat, just lick. I maintain the Curly Wurly is the best because nothing... I'm not reading the last bit of it. But anyway, what's your favourite chocolate to lick?
It wouldn't be a Curly Wurly in anyway. Just... for the surface.
You'd suck a Curly Wurly rather than lick it, no?
Just eat the fucker, like.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I'm going to throw one in controversial. I think a crunchy might be a winner here.
Crunchy is a good.
Do you bite the sides, or are you one of those that kind of bites the sides, bites the top, and then
no, just fucking eat it.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me, I think Martin says Toblerone. I think Martin might have asked what happened to Bang Average Golf. We're just too fucking busy.
Yeah, it's raining out as well.
I'd play in the rain, but we're just too busy. I don't have a fucking minute, me and Needy at the minute. So we'll try to do something, but I'm not promising that because we're just up to our eyes, to be fair. Can you lick a flake, says Gavin Walsh? Of course, you can lick any chocolate.
You can't melt a flake. There's one for you.
Kit Kats. Anyone for a Kit Kat?
If you're coming to the licking.
Finger of fudge.
Yeah, sounds a bit creepy. To be honest with you.
Well, we're talking about licking chocolate here. The
Yeah.
Red
reality
Steve
is
says-
we're talking about sucking chocolate. So
Red
it's
Steve says,
a
Gav can
horrendous
lick a
topic.
chocolate for 3 seconds and tell you what it tastes like. Yeah, I can. James LFC says, Liverpool have scheduled Jeremy Jacquet's medical for Monday. Fee is 55 plus 5. As revealed earlier, all agreed with Ren. Liverpool only ever wanted Jacquet for the summer. So I'm going for a crunchy. What are you going for? Bar of chocolate you have to lick. Go.
I just like a Galaxy, the bar of Galaxy. Galaxy's my favourite chocolate.
Now,
You have to let Galaxy melt in your
No,
mouth.
hold
You
on a
can't
minute.
chew it.
That's why you're licking it in your sort of
Are you just going for a standard bar of Galaxy? Galaxy
standard
standard.
Galaxy. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
can I offer you in exchange, if I was to offer you the Galaxy Ripple?
Oh yeah, I love a Galaxy Ripple.
Now you see, and I tell you something, Galaxy have mixed the trick here. They should be Galaxy should be doing ice cream with the Galaxy Ripple stuck in to rival the flake.
Well, it's not
It's just
fair
like a
on
flake in a
is it?
jacket, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but it's Galaxy chocolate.
No, but it's different texture inside.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, sticks to your teeth.
Yeah.
I milled them over Christmas.
The
The
Galaxy
humble
Ripples,
flake,
three
the
packs
humble
in, three
flake
packs
of
in, three in a pack, like.
Yeah.
Flake have found their corner on the ice creams, haven't they? It'd be unfair.
Yeah, no, they've
to
cornered
put
the whole
Galaxy
market when
in.
it comes to them.
I think it's unfair on them. It's like when the big multinational shops come into the small village and run the little local stores out of town. That's what the Ripple would be doing to the flake if he's tried to knuckle his way into the ice
I'm just
cream
saying
game.
you should have a go at it, but I think the flake is that established that if the Galaxy Ripple rocked into town and went, listen, we're sticking these in a 99 now, right? We're making our own 99s and we're sticking the Ripple in it. I feel like the flake would still come out on top, but it'd be a gallant effort from the Ripple. And I think people might prefer the Ripple.
Yeah, but
At times,
just
but they'll
nostalgia
still
will bring
the
them
loyalty.
back.
The loyalty will always go back to the flake, wouldn't it? They have the loyalty.
Yeah.
They have the customer base. I think the flake, they're untouchable there.
It's too far gone.
Dylan says I got gifted a packet of chocolate coated custard creams from M&S. About 3 inches of milk chocolate, around half a custard cream. They're a shambles.
I love a custard cream now, I must admit, but I don't know about chocolate dipped custard creams.
Okay.
But then M&S, good gear.
Yeah. So there you go. Willie says he was talking to Shawnee last night in the Eleonora. He's alive and well. Well, there you go. He's alive and well. Was he in the Eleonora last night? Jeez, fair play to me. He gets around. He was in Spain fucking buying furniture a couple of days ago. But then again, he's only a 2-hour flight away, isn't he? So there you go. Imagine an airport Toblerone in a 99 or ice cream.
Oof.
You'd be fucking there for days trying to eat that.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to ring into work and go, listen, lads, be Tuesday or Wednesday by the time I'm in.
And I won't be feeling the
ice
best
cream.
either.
You want to be in a fucking bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Size of the things.
Yeah, there you go. And Dylan O'Rourke's dog, a full chocolate orange last night. Terry's chocolate orange, no vomit, no shy, orange stomach. So there you go. And Gavin Walsh asked, what's a Mars Delight? What? You don't know what a Mars Delight is? Oh, wow. There you
Google
go.
They brought the crispy rolls back in several different types of ways now.
Yeah, there's
They
big
got
moves
rid of
going
them
on.
the Milky Way crispy rolls, wasn't it? And now they're back.
But anyway, if you're around during the week and it's not fucking pissing rain out and you do fancy a 99, go down to the aisle, right, and buy yourself a Galaxy Ripple and lash it into the 99 and come back and let us know how you're feeling. And Glenn Boylan says, lads, are we winning the Champions League? No, we're not. Relax, Glenn. We won one game. You know what I mean? We'll go back to being shite next week. Just enjoy this week. And we'll see how we get on next week.
I'd be surprised.
Anyway, anything else before we go, Emma?
No.
Oh, we've done really well on time here. Keith's going to be so proud of us. You've nothing. Okay. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, nothing. Everything's covered. Great to be back. Liverpool getting a nice win.
When
And
you say great to be back, it's more kind of had to do this week, lads. But you feel
had
like
to do this
you've
week.
enjoyed it.
Might be off next week. Who knows? But,
He's used up all his annual leave now for
yeah,
2026.
exactly. Yeah. When does the new leave year start?
It's April to April.
Yeah.
Right. I've nothing else either. That has been the Sunday Night Cop. I've been Gav, that's been Emmet, that's been Keith. Like, subscribe, comment, all that messing. We will have shows during the week on our YouTube channel, but if you haven't tried our Patreon channel, the link is in the description. Go and check it out. We're having a lovely time over there. Plenty of shows this week. And Phil Casey makes a return this week after being away for a while. He's back because all the busy stuff he was doing has stopped being busy. So he's able to jump back on. I think we'll be on
Got
Wednesday
married, did he?
He done it all. He
He's
done it all.
Phil's done it all multiple times. Do you know
It'd be
what I mean?
easier to say what he hasn't done
Yeah.
than what he has.
Yeah, to be fair. But I think Wednesday night on our Patreon we're going to be having a chat myself and Phil. So check that out. It costs you. What's it cost you? 2 and a bit chunky Kit Kats a month. That's what it costs you. All right, and if we can, we might change that now. If you can find something for around $1.49, it would cost you, fucking 3.2 of them or something like that. So that's how it is. Thanks a million. Talk to you in a bit. Up the Reds, not winning the Champions League. Relax, Glenn. Over and out.